Good evening, welcome to Business Live. Tonight, coming up, stimulus package for industry to be made available before the end of June this year. Also coming up, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta hints of the construction of what is expected to be Africa's most specialized Agric University. Plus, on the Joy Business Van today, we are celebrating authentically Ghanaian products. Stay tuned for more. Thanks for being with us. I have the details of these stories and more coming up in this half hour of Business News.
Business Live today.
Okay, so welcome to the show. Government will, within the next 2 weeks, begin the disbursement of funds for stimulus package promised industries in the 2017 budget. The Minister of Trade and Industry, Alan Chemante, who announced this, said more than 200 potential companies have already applied to receive funds from the package. In an interview with Joy Business, after inaugurating a ministerial advisory board to advise the government on issues of trade and industry, the stimulus package is part of government's policy initiatives to revive defunct industries with the capacity to create employment for the youth.
And long-term objective is not to continue feeding state enterprises with stimulus support, but to turn them over to the private sector.
It's been 6 months since the new government. When are we going to have this stimulus package? Private people have been asking us, when is the stimulus package coming? We are in June. Some gave ultimatum that at least by the end of June we need to have it. But up to now, we've not heard anything from the minister. Please give us an outline.
Yeah, we've started rolling it out. All those who expressed an interest in participating in the program, they can give you the status report because they've been invited for discussions in respect of their various companies. So unless you had applied for participation in the package, you may not quite understand what has been going on. But I can tell you, for example, that under the stimulus package, we have almost 290 companies that have already expressed an interest. They have been profiled. They've gone through a diagnostic exercise. They've been profiled. And so within the next couple of weeks, we would then start the disbursements based on what we found out in the diagnostic exercise. Finally, and then also for the one district, one factory, we have over 180 companies that have also provided materials to participate in the program.
Well, I'm curious to know what category of businesses qualify for this stimulus package. I'm joined in the studio by my colleague Eben Sabute, who covered that bit for us. So who qualifies to enjoy the stimulus package, Eben?
Okay, Darryl, among the companies that qualifies includes defunct but potential companies. So if, for instance, you are an SME,
how do you mean defunct? But
defunct by, let's take it, you have the potential to produce or you have the potential to expand, but because of one or two issues, you are not able to revive your company. Your company is there for months or years now. You are not able to produce to your capacity due to one or two issues. We know we had power issues 2 years ago, which has affected industries. So these are some of the issues that affected industry, and because of that, some were made defunct. Therefore, they cannot be able to expand again. The minister is saying if you have that capacity to expand, but due to one or two you cannot, you are qualified to apply. And let me not make this mistake. I think if you are not going to apply, you are late, because more than 200 companies have already applied for the stimulus package, and they've gone through diagnostic tests. And if you heard the minister very well, he was saying that 219 of them. So in about 2 weeks or 3, they are going to disburse the funds. So it's like government has budgeted for it already. The funds are ready, and the companies that applied are going to receive it in weeks or 2 time.
And how much are we looking at really? How much is government giving to these businesses?
Okay, so he mentioned the fact that government is trying to give out about $50 million in all. So if your company is into, let's take agro processing, and you need 200 million, you have to defend why you need that 200 million. If you are into pharmaceuticals and you need 100 million or 10,000, you have to defend the reasons why you need that. And you should also have the viability of creating more employment. You know, it's not as if you are just producing, you have the capacity to produce, but you should have the strength to create more employment for the youth, because it's not only going to look at investment, but we are also going to look at, growing the local economy.
And that's in 2 or 3 weeks. We are going to see the fund.
Exactly, Darryl.
All right. Thanks very much, Eben Sabte, there with those details. Now, the Chamber of Commerce and Industries is encouraging local companies to engage in partnerships to enhance government's industrialization drive. Now, government has declared its intention to use the private sector to spearhead its one district, one factory policy. President of the Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Nana Dr. Apia Danko, was speaking at a breakfast meeting to discuss prospects of the initiative in Kumasi. Prince Apia reports. And we'll bring you that report shortly, but we'll move on to some other events that has taken place today. And we're hearing that many small and medium enterprises are paying taxes they are not supposed to pay. That's the observation of Advisory Services Manager with Ernst & Young, Daniel Ababio. Now, he attributes this to the lack of right business plans by SMEs in the country. Daniel Ababio spoke to Joy Business at an SME training workshop in Accra.
Businesses are required to pay tax based on profit being made. So in a typical case of the example I gave, where on the face of it, it's making profit because some cost hasn't been factored into it, the books will show that this company is making profit, and so tax authorities will come after you. You will pay tax. Realistically, the company is not making profit, except because not all the costs being incurred by the company have been factored into the model. So it's important to conscientize businessmen and SMEs particularly to know all the different costs that make up their business, so that in coming up with the model, you would have factored all this in there and come up with the right and the realistic profit, which would then determine what tax you are going to pay and all that. For me, based on my experience, a lot of SMEs are paying taxes which they are not supposed to pay, because they don't have the right system of account in place. They don't even record some of the transactions and the costs they have incurred on a daily basis. And all these are going out of the bottom line, yet they are going to pay tax out of it because it's not captured right.
All right, so let's hear from the organizers of the program, marketing manager of Invest in Africa, Beauty Labi, and what she has to say about what took place today at the Coconut Grove Regency Hotel.
Today has been very positive. I like the caliber of businesses that came through. We were looking for SMEs who had been in operation for more than 2 years, had some specific number of staff, and from the questions they asked and from their profile, you could tell that we got the right kind of SMEs that we were looking for. The facilitator from EY has been amazing. I noticed that the SMEs did not want us to end this, but we've given evaluation forms, and per the feedback, if we have to repeat this session, we'll repeat it again.
And watch out for a full report on the Invest in Africa Joy Business Training in our later bulletin that's on the JoyNews Prime. Now, the Chamber of Commerce and Industry, as we've been telling you, is engaging local companies to in partnerships to enhance government's industrialization drive. Government has declared its intention to use the private sector to spearhead its one district, one factory policy. President of the Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Nana Dr. Danko, was speaking at a breakfast meeting to discuss prospects of the initiative in Kumasi. We can now watch Prince Apia's report.
The event was hosted by the Kumasi Chamber of Commerce and Industry. The theme was positioning Ashanti region to take advantage of the one district, one factory policy by government. Members seek to collaborate with the state to implement the initiative to address unemployment. President of the National Chamber, Nana Dr. Apia Dankawoso I addressed the gathering.
Ashanti region is well endowed with a lot of natural resources. And you can name them. You can talk about oil palm. The land is good, and so we can grow a lot of oil palm. Cocoa, we can talk about wood. In here, you can grow mangoes here. We can grow tomatoes very well, just around Akumadan. Plantain, cassava. We have a lot of vast area of land which has been used to cultivate oranges. Teak, go to Ofesu area. How do we take advantage of this? Let's go to Tonso, Bonyere, Ehra. The people there, God has given us some level of creativity. And it is a comparative advantage. How do we harness and take advantage of some of these things?
He believes it is critical to form strong alliances to explore opportunities presented by the setting up of factories.
90,000. Usika 30,000. One who said, Doctor Tiwe, also 30,000. Also, Jimmy come home because this can be 30,000. One who said, also 30,000. Obia to her and what can is a good book. Obia only Okonimu. I didn't think Doctor Father Diano coming near the own and Father Cat near Hono. Near 90,000 only young Korean check. This is what I'm talking about. Don't rest on your OS. Let's move forward. All this that we are talking about is about creativity and innovation.
Kumasi Chamber President Yawache Yadom emphasized the need to tap into abundant natural resources in the Shanti region.
One district, one factory policy to be presented by Mr. Reverend Thomas Gusibuafo, lecturer, Kumasi Technical University. It is our expectation that after this meeting, the business community in the Ashanti region will understand and take advantage of this policy to transform Ashanti region into an industrial hub. To further engage the private sector in the Ashanti region to discuss issues of private sector development.
Prince Apia reporting.
You're watching Business Live. We are turning to Agric now because Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta is hinting of a special fund to make agriculture become a leading contributor to GDP by 2020. Launching the 10th anniversary of the West African Center for Crop Improvement, Ken Ofori-Atta mentioned government has also committed $1 million for the construction of a specialized Agric University in the country.
The agric sector has become a key area of concern following its dwindling fortunes for some time now. It is against this backdrop that the West Africa Center for Crop Improvement has launched its 10th anniversary with the aim of projecting the agric sector through science and technology. Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta revealed his ministry is committing $1 million for the construction of what is expected to be known as Africa's most specialized Agric University. He believes this will go a long way to address the challenges facing the sector through scientific research.
Let me start the ball rolling by pledging from the Ministry of Finance, Education, I may take it from your budget, but $1 million. For the completion and furnishing, I just saw, oh no, I think they wrote 1 million Ghana cedis, but hey, I have mentioned $1 million, so be it. Which I hope will help with the completion and furnishing of the Waki multi-purpose building, and I hope and expect it to become a hub, the greatest center for plant breeding education in Africa and the world, and attract funding as such.
Touching on the issue of food insecurity in Ghana, the Agric Minister, Dr. Owusu Efriakoto, stated that government is considering making the country a seed economy through the passage of the plant breeders.
Only 11% of maize farmers use improved seed. The 89% or so use traditional seed, which they've used over and over and over again. In spite of that, this country is self-sufficient in maize. And the wonderful thing about these statistics is one thing. The traditional seed gives you something like less than half a ton per hectare. The open pollinated can give you up to 3 tons per hectare. The hybrid, as we know it, can give you 6-7 tons per hectare. But what he is telling us, they can do 9 to 10 tons per hectare. Have started with this major season. Now, the spearhead of that is what we are calling the planting for food and jobs, by choosing something like 200,000 farmers across the country, all the 216 districts, and focusing to make sure that they have the seed, the improved seed, for 5 main cereals: rice, maize, sorghum, soya, and some tomatoes and other vegetables.
So let's go on to the phone lines now and speak with Edward Karwe. He's the General Secretary of the Agric Workers Union, to get some opinion from him on the establishment of an Agric University. Thanks very much for your time. A special fund, that sounds really cool. An Agric University, also very interesting. I'm curious to know what you think about the creation of an Agric University.
Well, it's part of the expansion of our university system. Many more universities are now being established. So I will see it as an addition to the number of universities that we have in the country. That is one thing. So that's my view about it for now.
Well, you don't sound really excited about it, but I'm going to ask, because we've realized that research is one of the should I say, challenges that the agric sector lacks. Don't you think this will go a long way to address that?
Well, if we look at our operations over the period, I don't want to say that it's lack of research within the agriculture sector that has created the low production of the sector. I think it is largely about the linkage between research and then the practical work of agriculture. And beyond that, we also have a huge gap between the knowledge that people have to carry on agriculture and then the inputs and the credits that they need to actually carry out agriculture. Agriculture is just like any other sector, also requires huge capital injection. If you have an engineering knowledge about how to manufacture a car, and you don't have the resources to establish the plant, and then to buy the raw materials to actually actualize that your knowledge, then of course, at the end of the day, you have knowledge, but you cannot produce a car.
All right. Thanks very much. I'm sure we'll go on and speak about this in subsequent programs. And I get the sense that you feel that the Agric University is not a priority now. Thanks very much for your time. That was Edward Karwe speaking to us. You're watching Business Live. We're taking a short break. We'll be back.
Business Live today.
Welcome back to the program. It's time now for the Joy Business Van. Now, in 2009, chemical engineer Yao Edudien Fipoku decided to explore the market for natural cosmetic products. Having lived in the northern part of the country for a while, he had seen tons of shea butter exported from Ghana to other countries for use by global cosmetic companies. Then he thought, why can't we move just beyond exporting and own the shea butter? That birthed the Penny brand, which features on this week's episode of the Joy Business Van as we gear up for the Ghana New Fair that's later this month.
As you can see, he's operating the machines. The things are cooking in here, so we would not ideally be opening it. So once it's cooked properly and all the things are, I think, mixed properly, we'll homogenize it.
Sophisticated mixing machines at work, mixing ingredients for various cosmetic products. This is a portion of Yao Edugyen Fipoku's home, converted into a production center. He's not around today, but his co-founder, Yasafweisi, is.
We have them down there. It's cooking at very high heat, as I said. So once it cooks at this very high heat, we have to let it cool down.
Yasafweisi, a lawyer, is a sister of Yao. At the time he came up with the idea of starting a cosmetic line, she didn't know what to expect.
He was working in the northern region, and the business that they were doing at that time had to do with shea butter. So he realized most of the shea butter is being taken out unprocessed. And as a chemical engineer, you should be able to add value to it. You should know the process equipment to use. So he came back home saying he wanted to go study cosmetics. In fact, I was shocked when I heard it. And I said, okay, fair enough. So he told my mom and my dad, and they said, okay, they were going to sponsor him to go learn it. In fact, at that time, he was supposed to go do his master's. So once he went to the school, I think Clarkson University, and he gave the teacher some chocolate. He said, do you produce this in Ghana? He said, yes. They never knew we had finished chocolates in Ghana. So he said he was going to throw him a challenge to come back and do something with our butters. And that's when he came back and said he wanted to do cosmetics, and we find ourselves here today.
Production at the time they started was done manually. Yao was more of a guinea pig at the beginning. Yao's formulas were tested on hair all the time. In 2010, the now perfected Penny was tested on the market. The feedback was good.
Most of them will tell you, I like the fragrance of the product because they're expecting raw shea butter, coconut oil, olive oil to give off a certain smell. And your ability to mask it, still have that percentage of essential oils in your product, and it smells just nice, okay, makes them happy. They didn't expect. When you say, oh, it's raw shea butter, but I think most of the people, after they've sampled it, wow, is this made here? Then they're surprised.
But founders of Penny wanted to be different. To become a top cosmetic brand meant they had to do things differently. So they didn't just process and package, but sought to add medicinal properties to their products.
But once you have a product, and I would want to give some credit to Rabito Skin Clinic, because when we started doing the cosmetics, and we said we wanted a cosmetic that was not just a moisturizer, but had healing properties, the correct formula that would take the essential oils and make sure your body absorbs it. They were willing to grow and help us, okay, be able to work on the product and develop it and patronize it at the end of the day. So it gives you so much confidence that I have that formula. We've just figured it out.
Penny officially launched in 2012, selling 100% organic products for skin and hair from naturally sourced oils and agro products at major retail outlets in Ghana and online in the US, Canada, and UK via Amazon.
It needs to go through again. We didn't finish.
Thanks to technology, just a few hands are needed at the factory. But up north, where Penny sources its raw materials, it employs and pays for the services of hundreds of rural women who hand-make the shea butter. The goal is to become an international brand and the #1 exporter of quality made-in-Ghana cosmetics. Yao believes Ghanaians should be encouraged to produce and patronize their own products. So when you see your product, Penny, how do you feel?
I feel, let me say, proud, because the look and feel of people when they see it is, we didn't expect this to come from us. The level of attention you've paid to it, it should not have come from here. And it's nice when people say that and you say, we did it here. It can be done. And I'm not waiting to receive $3 million before I start. Even if it's a table stop, I'm going to start and I'm going to strive for the perfection. So when you see people's faces and they think it's a foreign brand, you kind of feel good. At least I can do something that without saying people think it's a foreign brand.
7 years in the business, and although they've made significant strides, Yah says Pini has only just started.
The future for the Pini brand, I hope, is to take control of our raw materials and add tremendous value to it. Controlling it is important for us to be able to standardize our prices and to be able to compete internationally. That's the ultimate goal. And to put food on the table. Because anybody involved in the Pini line should become better off at the end of the day.
All right, we are celebrating Made in Ghana products, and watch out for the Ghana Near Fair. That's on the 24th of June. Now, time for your busy bits.
Is it possible to use the computer without a mouse? Here are some tricks. Open the Start menu using the Windows key and the arrow keys to move up and down the menu. Then click Enter when you have selected the program you want. Once you are in the program, you can move around the menu bar by holding the Alt button and clicking on the underlined letter on the menu option. Then you can use the arrow keys and Enter to select what you want.
And we've really run out of time. Thanks for your time tonight on Business Live. The show returns tomorrow. My name is Daryl Kwao.